Hello and welcome to Experience Realty. My name is Tarun. Now, investment in real estate involves a significant outlay of funds, and hence it is a significant and a critical decision which involves careful deliberation. Real estate is not trial and error. It does not work here. So if you're standing on the edge, you're already taking too much of space. Take a step back, analyze, and then take that plunge. Often, I have seen seasoned investors as well as first-time investors pursuing hyped projects, scouring the market looking for a deal, or running after flourishing or matured communities as opposed to pursuing a young and upcoming location, which is often deemed too far off or in the middle of nowhere. Remember, going back in time, downtown was once a military camp and Dubai Marina happened to be the furthest most outpost of Dubai. So, how do we decide which project is worth pursuing and where I should actually try and secure something? In Dubai, the mantra is fairly simple. Invest in line with the vision of His Highness and the vision of the government. If it were not for these two entities, Dubai as we see it today would not have been there. So these people or these entities have given you immense clarity and put in a robust structure which, if you follow, definitely you will have your wealth generate more wealth for yourself as opposed to making someone else wealthier. Now, the scope of this video is to analyze off-plan projects which are upcoming, and these projects are based on the vision of the government, that is the Vision 2040 and the D2033 economic agenda. Allow me some time and I can assure you by the end of this video, you will have a crystal clear perspective, black and white, no smoking mirrors in between. I'm sure by now, all of you want to know what is Vision 2040 and how do I invest in line with the vision of the government to maximize my potential of doing returns and capital appreciation. Alright, so Vision 2040 was announced by Sheikh Mohammed on the 13th of March 2021. The major underlying agenda of Vision 2040 is to make Dubai the #1 destination to live in the world. Now, in order to actualize and see the Vision 20 to fruition, the city has been divided into 5 distinct economic zones. Now, each out of these actually, 3 of the zones are existing. 2 zones will be upcoming, and that in itself represents opportunity. Okay, so basically, the 5 zones that we're talking about will start with the first zone. Now, the first zone will be this entire area, which I'm highlighting right now. This zone rather consists of areas like Bardubai, Karama, Dera, Satwa, Riga, which is basically the heritage, culture, tradition, and the legacy of Dubai, which we need to preserve. At the same time, we need to use this as a strength. So when tourists come into Dubai, they go to the Dubai frame and the first thing that they notice is that they are taken through the journey of Dubai in the form of the legacy of Dubai. So this area, which is, getting kind of old, Dubai is fairly young, it's only 25 years old, but here infrastructure upgrades will be upcoming to bring this area up to point and make sure that it's relevant. Anyone who goes here to see the history of Dubai, they should get the underlying theme of where the city started from, but at the same time, it also needs to be relevant. So expect a lot of infrastructure upgrades coming here. Now, the second economic zone which is existing is this entire area, which we all are very, very well versed with. Now, this area basically is downtown, Business Bay, DIFC, and World Trade Center. I don't think so anyone in this world would not know about Burj Khalifa, downtown. Before they reach Dubai, this area reaches out to them. To give you perspective, 67 million visitors in New York last year. 69 million visitors in downtown. Dubai Mall last year had 110 million people visiting, okay? So we can very well understand the scope of downtown. Then in close proximity, we have Dubai International Financial Center, which besides being one of the most prominent and preeminent financial center, is also the financial hub or the nerve center of, I can say, Middle East, North Africa, probably Southeast Asia as well. 17 of the top 20 banks, 7 of the top 10 insurers, 11 of the top 10 wealth management companies like UBS, they have their headquarters here. Then, you got the Standard Chartered, you got the HSBCs, you got the MasterCards, Visa, all have their regional headquarters here. So we have a very strong financial center, a profitable one at that too. Then we also have the World Trade Center, which last year had 1.08 million visitors visiting to attend exhibitions, congregations, and conferences. Out of this, 65% of the visitors were overseas visitors. So you can again see, the attraction for this entire area. So this is the commercial, business, and the financial hub of Dubai. Now, here again, there will be a lot of upgradation of infrastructure and making these areas decongested because traffic can be a major problem here, Now, moving on to the third economic zone is the tourism and the leisure-oriented hub of Dubai. This is the third economic zone. We all know Dubai Marina, Blue Water by Miras, Palm Jumeirah, all of these areas, they are very relevant. Every tourist coming to Dubai wants to go to these areas, okay? And again, becoming congested, becoming saturated, demand is there, but the supply is fairly limited. All of this, we will see how this will unravel and how the Vision 2040 will help us expand our tourism hub, okay? Now, the fourth economic zone will be right here, which will be Dubai Silicon Oasis. Now, Dubai Silicon Oasis will be the future hub of knowledge, technology, and academics. So you can very well understand Silicon Oasis already has Academic City as a part of it, which is a thriving area for universities, international colleges, and the government is actually providing infrastructure here. If you look at the widest road, Al Ain Road had an upgrade of around 2 billion dirhams, which everyone knows about, 7x7 lane highway. Then you have the metro connectivity coming here by 2029. So you can very well see the theme that the infrastructure is already being put in place. Now, the fifth zone, which has already been activated, is this entire 145 square kilometer parcel, which is the future aerotropolis or the industrial, logistical, and the future homeowners hub of Dubai. Yeah, we know population is increasing almost at a 2% year-on-year basis. No city except Mumbai in the world has sustained this kind of a population growth. So this area again becomes very important. Yeah. Now, Vision 2040, besides demarcating these 5 distinct zones, also has some important things that need to be taken care of. Number one, as I was telling you earlier, Dubai needs to expand its waterfront or beachfront by 400%. And now, how will Dubai go about doing this? So this will happen with the activation of this entire zone, which is currently called the Golden Belt of Dubai Real Estate, consists of Maritime City, Rashid Yachts Marina, and Dubai Islands. Dubai Islands on its own will add 50 kilometers to the waterfront of Dubai, 81 resorts coming up. Beachfront will go up by 23 kilometers. So you can very well imagine the government has all of this in plan to expand the beachfront. Then we have this, what is called Palm Jebel Ali, which when ready will boast 80 5-star hotels and resorts, okay? Will add 110 kilometers to the waterfront, 81 kilometers to the beachfront. Will have 38,000 families calling this their home, yeah? So again, you see, we will have the tourism hub also flourishing. Yeah. So you can see the government has everything decided. Now, why I was telling you, follow the vision of the government. We all know, blue water, 7,500 dirhams per square foot. Dubai Marina, 3,500 dirhams per square foot. MR beachfront, which also happens to be a part of, the tourism hub of Dubai, 4,500 dirhams per square foot. Palm, 8 to 10,000 on the crescent. So here we see the price per square foot is high, but still fairly reasonable compared to other cities boasting infrastructure and amenities like Dubai. Now, the sweet spot. Enter into the waterfront of Dubai at 2,800 dirhams per square foot, which is the rock bottom. You cannot go wrong with an investment like this. Enter into the waterfront again at a similar price range, 2,800 dirhams per square foot. You cannot go wrong with this, and this is the vision of the government. Yeah, so you can very well understand expansion of the beachfront. Then another agenda of Vision 2040 is to expand the hospitality footprint by 134%, taking it up to 164 square kilometers. So let's see, 80 resorts and hotels opening on Dubai Island, 81 or 80 again on Palm. So you can see 160 hotels opening within the next 20 years, which will add much needed inventory to the city, and definitely tourism will be on the upbound. We have a target of becoming the #1 tourism destination also in the world as per Vision 2040. These two will help actualize it. Okay. Then carrying forward why and how we invest in line with the vision of the government. Yeah. So allow me to engage you and show you another important aspect. Now, we discussed about Silicon Oasis. Okay. We discussed about, that this will be an other economic zone which will be centered around academics, around knowledge, and around innovation. Okay. Now, projects coming around this zone will benefit immensely from the infrastructure that is coming around here. So the government will provide you infrastructure, and post that, all the developers are already vying to come up with projects here. So you have MR doing Valley here, where you can enter into a townhouse or a villa community at 1,000 dirhams per square foot. Again, you cannot go wrong with a decision like this. This is a gilt-edged investment opportunity. Valley definitely would tick all the criteria where you're entering at this point. Even if there is a correction, prices are not going to go below the off-plan prices. So the concept of capital preservation will also kick in, where you're entering at the rock bottom. In the event of the correction, the prices will only come down to this level. Hence, your capital will be preserved. So this is another significant zone. Invest where the government is targeting, where the areas where the government will provide us with the infrastructure, because the prices will be on the rise in those areas. Now, moving south, we have this entire land parcel of 145 square kilometers, touted to be the biggest aerotropolis in the world. We have Al Maktoum as the centerpiece, 70 square kilometers, and the fortunes of this area received the biggest boost with His Highness last week declaring a 128 billion dirham budget for this airport to get activated, where Dubai International Airport, as we know it today, will cease to exist or will shut shop in the next 10 years. So this will be the only airport in the city. You can very well imagine the connotation of this. Imagine 10 years down the line, 2034, you are a visitor who's coming to Dubai. This is the Dubai that you will see. So an investment here, again, buoyed by the vision of the government, where the government is spending, almost $300 billion to upgrade this area in the next 20 years. You cannot go wrong with an investment of, let's say, 1,200 dirhams per square foot in upcoming projects. This, again, is one of the opportunities that needs to be considered with all zeal and zest. Now, coming back to where we were at, this area right now is the apple of everyone's eyes when it comes to investments. And you will see developers, launching multiple projects here. So MR is coming up with 3 new projects here. We have the Oasis, which is a 9.4 square kilometer community, an exclusive villa community boasting around 6,000 villas. The project worth is around 70 billion dirhams. Huge, okay? Then, and guess what? Price per square foot for entering into a villa, even in the last launch for Mirage, was around 1550 dirhams per square foot. A villa of this pedigree of the Oasis, if you were to pursue it anywhere else in a mature community, then you're looking at a price point of 2,500 to 3,000 dirhams for Dubai Hills Estate, for District 1, for Jumeirah Golf Estates. Again, you can't go wrong with this, yeah? Then, MR again is coming up with 2 new projects. You have Heights Country Club and Wellness, which is at an intersection of Expo Road and Emirates Road, somewhere right here. Okay, that's the location for Heights Country Club. And then MR is coming up with another project called Grand Polo Club and Resorts. More or less, this is the location. So Heights Country Club on its own, it's an 8.1 million square meter community with the holistic lifestyle experience where wellness is the underlying theme of the community. So, you can very well imagine it is resort style urban living. And Grand Polo Club and Resort also is on a similar theme. Now, entry point again will be around 1,200 dirhams per square foot for Heights Country Club. So you cannot go wrong with an investment decision like this. Then you have MR South, where the last launch was at 1,050 dirhams per square foot. An 18-hole championship golf course community, again by the biggest and the most revered developer in the world, Emaar Properties. I'm pretty sure 5 or 6 years down the line, the fortunes of MR South will be on the same growth trajectory as Dubai Hills Estate. Right now, last launch, 1,050 dirhams per square foot for a villa or a semi-detached on the Gulf. Where in Dubai would you get an opportunity like this? Yeah, I don't think so. There is any community or any area where you will have an opportunity like this. And then I have my favorite, Expo. Now, Expo again is a project backed by the vision of His Highness. Yeah, again, sustainability is a big agenda of Vision 2040. Yeah. Now, the world as we know it today is moving away from natural sources of energy to renewable. And Vision 2040 is something that will be giving huge impetus to the renewable sources as opposed to natural sources for energy. So, now you see that developers are going for LEED City Council ratings, gold, platinum. Now, these focus a lot on sustainability. So, Expo, I think, will be the torchbearer in this case. We're talking about an infrastructure of around 27 billion dirhams done by the government. This is a 4.3 square kilometer city where all the infrastructure is already there, So, you can well imagine 2 years down the line when the capacity of Maktoum goes up. Today, the capacity of Al Maktoum is around 30 million. One runway is fully operational. Let's say 2 years down the line, since this movement of the airport is going to happen in phases, 2 years down the line, the capacity of Al Maktoum will be 60 million. So definitely there will be traffic routed from DXB to Al Maktoum. So what does that mean? Expo will be the only community which will have all the infrastructure up and running. And by 2026, the Expo will have cutting-edge residential apartments as well as a flourishing townhouse and a villa community up and running. So in lieu of that, Expo is also a very promising prospect. Now, as I told you earlier, the government is focusing on Vision 2040. They have a clear plan. Deriving from the Vision 2040 is also the D2033 economic agenda. Now, what is the D2033 economic agenda? the T2033 economic agenda says that we need to double our economy. So by doubling our economy, we mean that today we are at 13.1 trillion. Yeah, that is the size of our economy. So by 2033, we have to go up to 25.1 trillion. The eventual target is around 31 trillion, but we'll focus on 25.1 trillion for now. Now, how is the government going to do that? All of this is also planned. So if you see, the government is going to activate 3 new business corridors. Now, by a business corridor, I mean economic corridors, okay? So the first one will be with Latin America, which is called BRICS. Now, Dubai, UAE, Saudi and Iran have already been brought on board, along with some of the big hitters like China, like India, like Russia. So this is a conglomerate where a fairly young nation like UAE with 30 years, more or less for existence, 50 years for existence, okay, is a part of this conglomerate, and we are going to set up new trade routes and logistical hubs in Latin America promoting trade, okay. The second economic corridor that has been activated will be with Southeast Asia. Now we all know the Chinese are coming back, the Malaysians, the Thai, the Japanese, they want to invest majorly in Dubai. So again, another economic corridor. You can very well understand the implication of all of this. Then the third corridor will be with the baby continent of the world, but the one which is growing at the fastest rate. And yes, I'm talking about Africa. So Dubai will be setting up a logistical corridor with Africa as well. So you can very well understand doubling the economy, okay, setting 3 new business corridors. Let's make this deal more sweeter. Now, how to attain that, doubling the GDP or doubling the economy? So the government again is coming up with 400 new trade routes, which will be established by 2033. So 400 new trade routes means that we'll be adding to our tally for almost 40 cities per year, which we will be opening new trade routes with, which also transcends to 40 cities a month, or more or less 40 cities a year, and which, if you do the mathematics again, it's almost 3 cities per month. So you can very well imagine, again, you're talking about more and more trade routes, and trade, we all know, brings in capital, brings in money. Now, another important aspect of this is the foreign direct investments. By 2033, the foreign direct investments in Dubai are touted to be up to 650 billion dirhams, which is the largest. So Dubai is the favored destination for anyone and everyone who's looking at doing a foreign direct investment. And this, I'm talking about all the big hitters and the big players who believe in this vision, who are willing to, invest in the vision of Dubai. Then finally, we will be adding 165 kilometers. That's a lot. 165 square kilometers to the industrial and commercial activities. This will be dedicated. This is the land parcel size that the government is planning to dedicate to industrial and commercial activities, which will again, welcome people who want to set up a business or an industry or start a commercial venture in Dubai. We all know with the advent of the golden visa, everyone and anyone is flocking to Dubai today. Imagine with all of these activations, I'm pretty sure that we will actually realize our Vision 2040 before 2040 actually, because if you look at the numbers, 2 years since the Vision 2040 has been announced, today, as per the Global Expat in the Index, we are already sitting on number 9. So I think way before 2040, we will be the number 1 city to be living in the world. Yeah. So I think, in all fairness, this will give you a very good viewpoint. Now, I will actually take you to the sites, okay? And we will explore these investment opportunities like the Golden Belt, okay? There are some phenomenal launches lined up in the Golden Belt. We will be exploring the valley and the areas around Silicon Oasis, where we know there are some stellar projects and stellar launches coming up. And then we all know This area I spoke extensively about. I will actually take you and show you a glimpse of the city that is taking shape here. So, fasten your seatbelts because we are going to go for a joyride now. As I told you, we're going for a joyride. Here we are. We find ourselves in the Expo. Now this is a heritage site. Imagine 26 million people, 6 months of the Expo. That's roughly around 200,000 people a month. This city is purpose built. The infrastructure here is probably the best of the best, with LEED Gold and Platinum certified buildings, a fully sustainable city where the energy to power this city will be fully renewable. Again, bearing in mind the Vision 2040, where sustainability is also one of the biggest agendas. So you can see here, right in front of me is the Sustainability Pavilion, which will be generating 50% of the electricity for this community, and the other 50% will be acquired from the renewable resources of Dewa. If we talk about infrastructure in the south of Dubai, Expo takes the cake. It will take all the other developers a fair bit of time and some catching up to do in terms of infrastructure when we're speaking about the south of Dubai. Now, why the Expo? I know a lot of people think that, oh, Expo, it's very expensive. But in my humble opinion and with my experience, we are talking about a community which is ready. If we compare the Expo, I would say the only comparison which I find to the Expo or which I can relate to the Expo would be Dubai's estate. They have a lot of similarities. Number one, to start with, an MR operated mall. Probably the first MR operated mall outside of an MR community. Expo Mall operational within 4 months, So one tick, infrastructure. You need a mall around a community, okay? Number two, the only community after downtown to have an active metro station named after the community. This is the iconic red metro line, which in the future will be extended to Al Maktoum. So you can very well imagine connectivity from Maktoum until the existing airport, which in the near future will not be there, Then, the largest exhibition center is World Trade Center in Dubai as of now, but the new Dubai Exhibition Center will be extended. The current size is 40,000 square meters. By the end of this year, 2027, the new Dubai Exhibition Center will be 180,000 square meters, making it the biggest in Middle East and North Africa. Imagine this site has held some of the biggest congregations, conferences, Expo, COP28, So what will happen once we have the biggest exhibition center up and running? Short-term rentals, yeah? Okay, let's make this deal sweeter, yeah? You are talking about an office district which boasts, as I said, LEED Gold and LEED Platinum certified buildings and can take up to 27,000 people will call the Expo their official address. Fortune 500 companies are already moving. You have Emirates Innovation Division, DP World, Siemens Energy, Engia Consultancy, Grazia, and then you have the Chinese AI giant who's also collaborated and is present in Expo. 4,000 people working till date. Now, think about it. All of this is already there. What is missing is the apartments, townhouses and villas, which will be handed over by 2026. There are some unique opportunities in the Expo, which I'm going to show you, and trust me, this is worthwhile pursuing. Come on in to the elegant and a tastefully done sales center of Expo City. Here, I would run out of superlatives to describe this city. If you look at the location of the Expo, you will see sits at the gateway to the aerotropolis, which is taking shape in Dubai. And then you have connectivity from Expo Road, which connects you to pretty much all the lifelines. By lifelines, I mean roads in Dubai. So all the roads are accessible, all the big roads like major, you name Mohammed bin Zayed, Zayed bin Hamdan Al Nahyan, and Sheikh Zayed Road, Emirates Road, all accessible within 7 to 8 minutes of driving time. Expo Road is a 7x7 lane highway. So you can very well imagine connectivity, tick box. So basically everything that a family or a business needs, for functioning is already there in the Expo. So the prices are justifiable. Any mature community in Dubai which boasts amenities, infrastructure like Expo is today transacting at 2,300, 2,500 dirhams per square foot like Dubai Hills Estate. So the Expo, where you can enter into the apartment community at 1,800 dirhams per square foot, is a bargain. And if we talk about villa and townhouse community, then, Expo will probably annihilate all competition. I mean, look at it. Townhouses, Shamsa, Maha, what price did they sell out at? Townhouses, Shamsa sold out 1,360 for a 3-bedroom and 1,450 for a 4-bedroom. Yasmina, the semi-detached villas, 1,550 dirhams per square foot, And the kind of community that the Expo has, I'm sure, probably very few will match up to the Expo. So, I mean, just to give you a glimpse of the master plan or the scale model of the Expo City or Expo Valley rather, you will actually understand that there is nothing like this which exists in Dubai Hills Estate. Imagine keeping that sustainability theme in mind. This developer has left 60% of the land parcel for open spaces, Not many developers would do this. They would cramp in more and more villas, more and more townhouses to increase the profitability. But here, you have only 528 units. That's it. So you can very well imagine townhouses, 1,360 for 3-bed, 1,450 for 4 beds. Yasmina, the semi-detached, which again is sold out, sold out at 1,550 dirhams per square foot. Then you have Maha Villas, again, a great opportunity. You could be entering into one of these starting only at 2,000 dirhams per square foot. It's bargain. I mean, if we were to look at a community, a mature community, a flourishing community in Dubai and compare it with that, Expo would actually take the cake. Now, what I wanted to speak to you about was the prospect of investing in plots. Expo has come up with this phenomenal opportunity where you can own a plot starting at 7,500 dirhams per square foot, 1,500 dirhams per square foot. The starting sizes are around 7,500 going up to 12,500. So you can very well imagine if a villa, the most expensive villa overlooking this huge reserve, which is by the way 100,000 square meters, is starting at 3,000 dirhams per square foot. Yeah, this is what the price the developer is giving for these villas, which are actually, not something very, very unique. Yes, there is a lot. You have 40 of them, so you have more competition. Factory made, I would say, as opposed to the plots, which are these entire rows, which are available right now, starting to sell at 1,550 dirhams per square foot, where you are allowed a built-up which is much higher. The built-up you can do here is around 10,700 odd square foot, which is higher than Maha. So you very well imagine 10,700 square foot. If I take an average plot, the cost of the plot will be around 12 million. Then even if I really want to splurge and I spend around 800 dirhams per square foot to build this villa, then I'm talking about a cost of 20 million for that villa. Now, Maha, which is selling at 3,000 dirhams per square foot, let's say I am being a fool, I'm being too conservative with the biggest airport coming here and with all the shebang that is going on around, So, even if there is no appreciation, today Maha is selling at 3,000 dirhams per square foot. Let's say by 2026, when this entire community is handed over, you have a plot here and you built a villa on it, which cost you 20 million. So worst case scenario with no appreciation, even if I take 3,000 dirhams per square foot, this land on its own will get you around 31 million dirhams. Is there a better or a sweeter deal in Dubai real estate than this? In my humble opinion, no. Now, another thing which I wanted to show you now that we are here in the sales center is that I'm going to show you the model for Expo City, which will actually give you an insight about why you should be pursuing the Expo, besides being a very strategic location in close proximity to Al Maktoum, which will be the only airport in Dubai. This project is cutting edge. It's almost like the set of a sci-fi movie. So why do I say a sci-fi movie? See it for yourself. Seeing is believing, as they say it. So imagine or envision this 4.3 square kilometer city which is up and running. There is nothing that is not here. The only 15-minute city in the world where you can walk from one point to the other within 15 minutes. Yeah. So you have everything at your beck and call. Imagine living in one of these apartments. These are the 3 clusters. So this is Mangrove, which was launched last year, sold out. Now we're in Sky Residences, which is fast selling out. And then Cedar will be the last cluster that will be coming up here. So low density and, low rise is the mantra of luxury. And that is what they have retained here. So you only have around 1,400 apartments in office district where there will be 27,000 people working. They will all favor and choose this community. And with the airport getting activated and, by 2026, the traffic would definitely go up to, the capacity would rather go up to 65 million. You can very well imagine these will draw a lot of interest from people who work at the airport. So I'm talking about pilots, I'm talking about cabin crew, I'm talking about the management. And this office district, which has 4,000 people working as of today, will definitely be gaining more momentum by then. And then if we talk about entertainment, the infrastructure that the Expo boasts in terms of entertainment is second to none. You have Al Wasl Dome, which is a Guinness Book World Record holder for the largest interactive dome, held events and, concerts. You can name the who's who of the performing artists: Coldplay, Black Eyed Peas, A.R. Rahman. February, they hosted a music event. 50,000 people attended on a daily basis for 3 days. Then you have the surreal water feature, you have the garden in the sky, you have the mobility pavilion, you have the sustainability pavilion, which is right here. Then you have the UAE pavilion, the Saudi pavilion. So an organic demand for tourism as well. Tourists who come to Dubai, they go Burj Khalifa, they see downtown, they take the metro, they go to Dubai Marina, and then they come to Expo. So on a yearly basis, around 1 million visitors are visiting the Expo every year to visit this site. With New Dubai Exhibition Center, with the MR operated mall, I don't see any other opportunity better than the Expo. So more details about this project, let's speak, let's connect over a call. And now I think we'll be going to our new location, which we will reveal shortly. Now, we have discussed a lot about the aerotropolis, okay? And we were in Expo earlier. Now, this project is of utmost significance. And why would I stress on a project so much? If you look at the location of the Oasis, we have something which will pretty much be the reference point in terms of living in a villa community in Dubai, in lieu of what this project has to offer, number one. Number two is the astounding size of the community, which is almost 9.4 million square meters, almost 9.4 square kilometers. Remember, this is an exclusive villa community. So you have a community which is of this size, boasting only 6,000 villas. So imagine the density, which is very low, and low density translates into more open spaces, into more views, into more privacy. And this is the new definition of luxury as well. Okay. So now the location of the Oasis, as I was telling you earlier, it is going to be the future center point of the city. With the airport moving towards the south, okay, the location of the Oasis, which is only 15 minutes away from the upcoming DWC airport, it is equidistant from both the palms. It is only 25 to 30 minutes away from the downtown. You cannot get a better location. So moving forward, 10 years down the line, this project will actually be the center point of the city. And you have a community which will be the reference point in terms of living around verdant parks, shimmering lagoons, where you have expansive plot sizes which open onto either parks or shimmering canals, giving you uninterrupted vistas of the azure blue water. The landscapes of the Caribbean are not restricted to Caribbean. You have them in Dubai. Now, one look at this master plan, and what is the most salient feature that you will see is this linear central park which runs through the spine of the community. Now, bear in mind, this is the longest park in any community in Dubai real estate. It will surpass everything. It starts from Emirates Road and stretches up until Sheikh Zayed bin Hamdan Al Nahyan Street, more than a kilometer long. This community will boast only 6,000 villas. That's it. Imagine the exclusivity. Imagine this community boasting 140,000 square meters of retail space, a destination. And on top of that, MR has gone back to the drawing board. Nowadays you see this trend. Developers, they know land is limited and very expensive. So they are coming up with small plots where they're doing a big built-up area which is spread across 2 floors. So as I was telling you earlier, MR has gone back to the drawing board, and they are coming up with what an actual villa owner would want. That is a big plot size. So in the last launch, there's only 2 phases that have been launched in the Oasis, which is exactly this cluster. The first launch was Palmeiras. The second launch was Mirage. Now in Mirage, MR again went back to the drawing board and they came up with plot sizes for 5 beds, which was starting at 11,000 square foot almost. That's a big plot size for a 5 bed. 6 beds, the plot sizes were starting at 14,000 and they had generous built up areas. 4 beds, 5 beds, you're talking about almost 10,225. And in the case of 6 beds, you're talking about a built-up area almost closing up on 12,000. And guess what? Starting price point, 1,500 to 1,550 dirhams per square foot. For a community like this, if you can find a reference point which we can compare the Oasis to, then the only reference point that comes in my mind is District 1. And we know in District 1, if we are pursuing a 5-bedroom also, it is not directly on the lagoon. Number one, here 5 bedrooms will be on the water canals. And you can very well imagine in District 1, a 5-bed like this, which is not even on the lagoon, has a smaller plot size, would set you back by minimum 25 million dirhams. Here, all that you need to pay to the developer over a 4-year construction-linked payment plan will be how much? 15.8 million. Which comes down to 1,500 dirhams per square foot. There cannot be a better project. There cannot be a better location. Imagine this will be the center point of the city in not such a distant future. Look at the community. Look at the landmass. 28% of the landmass here is dedicated to lagoons and verdant parks. You're talking about a community which is, which has connectivity from 3 of the major most highways in Dubai. You have Emirates Road, you have Yalaya Street, you have Hamdan bin Zayed, and then eventually the Al Fay extension will also be connecting you to Al Khail, and this will be the new connectivity that will be added to Oasis. So, in my humble opinion, I feel that Oasis is the future of villa living in Dubai, and starting at this price point, honestly, I don't want to say that word, but it is literally a no-brainer. If you are in the pursuance of a villa, the Oasis should rank in the top part of your options, Like there actually should be no other second option. If you're pursuing an off-plan, a villa, this is it. As you can see, it's unmissable. We are in Dubai Silicon Oasis, which is the 4th economic zone as per Vision 2040. Okay, now this 7 square kilometer city, is a 15-minute city as well. So you can very well imagine the vision and the intent of the government, where this location has already bagged the #1 zone by Financial Times for SMEs and R&D related businesses. So Dubai Silicon Oasis already has an infrastructure ecosystem which exists, Besides that, imagine the intent of the government with the metro coming here by 2029, the blue line, the road infrastructure is already there. If you look around Dubai Silicon Oasis, it's a thriving community. Now, any investment done around this economic zone, projects like the Valley by MR, which is technically only 5 minutes drive time from Silicon Oasis, or investments done in Dubai land, upcoming communities like Ghaf Woods, like Athlon, by Aldar, all of these projects carry a lot of potential. Case in point, the Valley by MR, still a very young community, only 2 square kilometers, A lot will come in the valley. Why? Because it's a young master plan. MR just announced the extension of the Valley Master Plan, which is a location only 5 minutes away from here. So you can very well imagine the eventual size of the valley is going to be ginormous, Probably we are looking at an 11 square kilometer community, a huge master plan where you still will be entering at an initial stage. With 3 launches slated for the valley in the upcoming months, basically May, June, July. So this makes Valley a very interesting prospect because it is close to the economic zone where you are entering at a per square foot price of only 1,050 dirhams per square foot. You will not get these kind of prices anywhere in Dubai. Then, as I said earlier, another community which is by Majid Al Futtaim, whoever invested in Tilal Al Ghaf, they're sitting on 100% appreciation. Now, Majid Al Futtaim is coming up with their second project called Ghaf Woods. Now, as per the developer and what I have seen of the renderings and the product that they're coming up with, it'll be basically a community very similar to Al Barari. So you can imagine a lot of greenery, a lot of open spaces, a lot of the landmass in line again with the Vision 2040 dedicated to green and open spaces. So we're essentially talking about a low-lying, a low-density, low-rise community. Again, going back to the thing I always hark on nowadays, low-density, low-rise means luxury. So here, you will have a community which is, again, steeped in sustainability. Open spaces, then you have something which is low-density. You have an entire lifestyle-oriented community where you will have extensive jogging tracks, cycling tracks, open spaces, a community centered around farm-to-table concept, which is something which people want, going back to the nature. So imagine entering in a community like this at 1,500 dirhams per square foot. Just look at the price trajectory of Al Barari, where a 2-bedroom today is transacting at 6.7, 6.8 million. Ghaf Woods, starting at 1,500 dirhams per square foot, has all the potential to replicate Al Barari, where the developer is saying this probably will be a community which will be in the top 10 places to visit when visitors would come to Dubai. So you can very well imagine the intent of the developer backed by the intent of the government. So Dubai Silicon Oasis and the areas around Dubai Silicon Oasis are going to flourish because these areas are backed by the vision of the government, where they will provide you with the infrastructure. These are young and upcoming communities which in the near future will flourish. So case in point, Valley, which is just the start of the master plan. Catch them young, watch them grow. Invest in the Valley. Ghaf Woods, again, an amazing entry point. You will be probably one of the first few who will be investing into this master plan. Then Athlon by Aldar, we saw the kind of frenzy that this project generated. And all of these happen to be around this economic zone. So for more details on this zone, let's connect over a call. Now, we are going to another realm which needs a lot of exploration and probably has immense potential. Yes, no points for guessing it. we are talking about the waterfront of Dubai. So let's go and explore the waterfront. In keeping with the investments in young, upcoming locations around the economic zones where you can enter at the rock bottom prices, I know with all of these surroundings and what you see around me, you will not believe that this will be rock bottom, because this is waterfront. And waterfront is premium. We know land is there. Dubai has a lot of land to develop, but waterfront is only very limited. And yes, Vision 2040 centers around expanding the waterfront and beachfront by 400%. So what brings me here is that this place, along with 2 more projects, happens to be the golden belt of Dubai real estate. So here, prices start at 23 to 2,800 dirhams per square foot, depending on the location, depending on the view. But a ballpark figure, you can say, last launch in Mina Rashid started at around 2,300 dirhams per square foot. So you can very well imagine you're entering into the waterfront of Dubai at the lowest price. And remember, this location, which is only 12 minutes away from the commercial, financial and business hub of Dubai, that is downtown, Burj Khalifa, DIFC, it cannot get better. But it actually got better. Why? You are also only 5 to 8 minutes away from the heritage hub of Dubai, where till date 65% of the population works from, and you have the old businesses still operating out of those areas. Now remember, the heritage hub or the heritage zone, economic zone of Dubai happens to be leasehold. So you cannot really buy there. So, these communities, that is Mina Rashid, then you have Maritime City, which is just across us, okay? And Dubai Islands will benefit a lot because of the proximity to the heritage economic zone and the commercial economic zone. So you can very well imagine the kind of interest this area would attract, in lieu of it being waterfront and in close proximity to these 2 established zones, that is the economic and the heritage zone. Now, Mina Rashid in particular, which happens to be 1.7 square kilometer, and it is MR's first master plan on water, a fully integrated lifestyle community which is costing around 27 billion dirhams, and it goes by the eponymous name Rashid Yachts and Marina, named after the founding father of Dubai, Sheikh Rashid. So how can you go wrong with something like this, where you are entering at the lowest possible per square foot price with MR's pedigree as a developer, who is famous, or rather I would say notorious for conceptualizing, developing, maintaining and nurturing. Their record speaks leaps and bounds. So an entry into an MR master plan in the initial stages with Rashid Yachts and Marina, only the first phase has been launched. And bear in mind, now the new phases or the new buildings that will come up will be probably close to the water. So who knows, So be very, very careful and pursue Rashid Yachts and Marina, as this is only the beginning of a master plan which will have Queen Elizabeth II as a centerpiece, the longest swimmable canal pool in Dubai, Dubai Mall on promenade, basically Dubai Mall on the waterfront is taking shape. You will have boutique hotels, you will have theaters, museum, beach club, you name it. Parks, 28% of the landmass has been dedicated to green and open spaces. So you can understand the intent of the developer. Rashid Yachts and Marina is a thumbs up from my side. Please, without a shadow of doubt, pursue Rashid Yachts and Marina. Now, the other important project that is taking shape just around Rashid Yachts and Marina, again, this is also a part of the golden belt of Dubai real estate. You have Maritime City, which is just across us. So I'm literally walking towards the side where you can see Maritime City, and we all know, we've seen this. MR enters a location, okay, they start warming the location up, and all the other developers, they start following the suit and they start developing around MR communities. And the same phenomena is taking place in and around Rashid Yachts Marina, where Maritime City has seen unprecedented development and launches from some of the finest developers, I would say. So, of all of them, I would put Omniath on a totally different pedestal. Now, Omniath, I would say, is the epitome of luxury, grandeur, and opulence. When it comes to luxury segment, I think probably anyone would find it hard to give Omniath a run for their money. See, nowadays developers are collaborating with who's who of the brand world. Someone is collaborating with Mercedes, someone is collaborating with Bugatti, someone is collaborating with Frank Muller. All of that is great, It is good to, have a brand associated with the tower. But the real branded residences, they come from hospitality brands. And when I see a developer collaborate with a hospitality brand, and that too, not any hospitality brand, a hospitality brand which is steeped in history, steeped in tradition, one of the finest institutions in the world. Yes, I'm talking about Dorchester. Omniath collaborates with Dorchester, and that probably is the zenith or the peak of hospitality. So imagine Omniath has launched a tower. They were the first ones actually to launch this tower here, Anwar, right in front of us, okay? I would say this is like the Lone Ranger right now. And you would see that prices here, as of now, a one bedroom with uninterrupted sea views, you can get something between 1.8 on the lower floors to 2.1, even 2.2 on the higher floors. And Omniath's quality is bespoke. Now, imagine, Omniath, I think, wields the same kind of power and influence that MR has on locations, So, case in point would be, let's say, Dorchester Residences in Business Bay, yeah? I mean, Business Bay per square foot price ranges from, 2,500 to 3,500. You'll have some of the other new developers and private developers like Ellington who launched their last project. It was around the same price, 3,500 dirhams per square foot. But when Omniath launches a product on Business Bay, on the canal, guess what? A 3-bedroom is selling at 34 million dirhams. That is a whopping 6,280 dirhams per square foot. So that is the kind of influence this developer has on a location. And now Omniath is going to come up with a new launch. So they have probably acquired the second plot from the entry to Maritime City. Again, a very, very good location, okay? And from here, you have uninterrupted vistas of this splendid marina as well as open views of the Arabian Gulf, until infinity. And guess what? The starting prices for this is 2,800 dirhams per square foot in a location which is backed by the vision of the government, the golden belt of Dubai real estate. Imagine some place which is in close proximity. Let's say I would compare it to City Walk by Miras, which is landlocked. There is no water views. But today it is transacting at 3,500 to 4,000 dirhams per square foot. So I would say worst case scenario, let's say if all hell breaks loose, the minimum I would say that this project, the minimum it would go up to is the same price. You are talking about premium water views. So even if I'm being very conservative or I'm being a fool by telling you it'll be only 3,500, 4,000, the actual potential is much, much more. This is the latent potential. The real potential, I would say that I will put this project, the enormity of Maritime City along with Rashid Yachts Marina. And then we have Dubai Islands, which is, 50 kilometers added to the waterfront, 21 kilometers of pristine private beaches. You're talking about 17 square kilometers of landmass in the middle of the Arabian Gulf. There is no better opportunity in Dubai real estate than the Golden Belt right now. With all of these developers, MR, 25 years experience, Nakhil, the similar kind of experience, I can go wrong. you can go wrong, but these developers, as well as the vision of the government, will make sure that your investment is failure proof. So, Dubai Islands, Rashid Yachts Marina, Maritime City, go for them with full pep. Now, we are almost at the end of this video. Yeah, and I feel that this would actually give you a very, very good perspective about how to invest in off-plan in Dubai, in line with the vision of the government, in line with the Vision 2040 and the D2033 economic agenda, which is deriving from the Vision 2040. And trust me, I can vouch for this. If you follow these mantras, investing in off-plan, investing in young communities as opposed to flourished areas or mature communities, yeah, you cannot go wrong. So, we discussed the two new upcoming economic zones. That is the biggest aerotropolis, which is taking shape in the south of Dubai, or the fourth economic zone, which is Silicon Oasis, which is the hub of knowledge, technology and innovation. Any off-plan projects coming up by reputed semi-government developers or good private developers would be an amazing investment opportunity where your investment will go from strength to strength. You will not be stressed, you will not be worried, because you are entering at the lowest per square foot price compared to any other location in Dubai. And that, I think, is the biggest learning that you can take from this video. This is Tarun saying sayonara. In case you want to connect, feel free to reach out